The history of hardcore. You know, it's all about the history. The history of hardcore podcast. The history of hardcore podcast. Okay, good afternoon, people. We're sat here today at Muscle Hustle with the history of hardcore podcast's very special guest, my old friend, the main man, the originator, one of the pioneers of the microphone, the man like MC Robbie D.
Yeah.
What's up, brother?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Yeah, man, it's good. Nice to have you in my hometown.
I know, it's been a long time.
You normally just go straight past.
No.
I'm not going seeing him.
I'm just off
through.
Yeah, just
one of your many
we're going
missions.
hither and yonder.
Yeah. Well, you were known as the sofa surfer of the 90s, really,
That's
weren't
right.
you?
Yeah, the original navigator.
The original.
Yeah.
And so there's plenty of settees out there that have had a week with Robbie back in the 90s, you know, and lots of Xboxes played and PlayStations. Okay, so Robbie.
Yes.
You're one of the originals, man. You've been there since day one. You've probably, people of yourself have probably forgotten more about yourself than you can remember. I've had some mad times with you myself. Beyond that, I don't even go into that realm, I don't think.
It was mental. It has been mental. The journey is still ongoing, you know what I mean?
Mate, I don't think it's going to end until we end, until the end.
Yeah, the bitter end.
Let's start off. Can you just tell me a little bit about your childhood, about growing up, where you grew up?
Yeah.
And your influences into music? Was it purely Few music or was it via other... Tell me.
Well, I was born in 1970 in Liverpool. Best place to be on earth, yeah. Born in Sefton General.
I'm not going to argue that.
No, you can't.
I'm not going to argue that.
You can't.
But too many scousers
You know
are going to
what I mean?
watch this read say
Yeah.
another.
So
all right.
I was brought up in Tockey, in Toxteth.
I know Toxteth well.
For the first few years.
Lovely place, especially this time of year.
Yeah. I mean, there's Eurovision going on there now. I'll go back to that. And so I was there for the first 4 years of my life, and unfortunately I was shipped out. So I didn't really get to experience all the 70s and 80s out there, but my heart was always there. I spent the first 17 years of my life in Kidderminster, down near Worcester, between Worcester and Birmingham.
Yeah. The old engine house.
That's right, yeah. So yeah, I mean, the childhood, I spent from when I was 4 up until the 1980s living with my grandma. So I had it was a strange upbringing, really, as I was like only one of maybe a few black or coloured people in the town.
Yeah.
Right? So it was a different time. The 70s was different. You know,
we're going back quite a long time now, aren't we?
We are.
Culture's changed, life's changed.
Yeah, completely.
Country's changed. Not so much for the better, is it? As well. We'll go into that later.
Yeah. Yeah. So I got the music wise. I got a broad spectrum of all kinds of music, especially with my cousins. They were into Top of the Pops and stuff, and you listen to a lot of Radio 1 stuff. It was all that era, so you get a broad spectrum of music, and you know, it was interesting to say the least. You know, as you said, the culture was different, but when I went back to live with my mother, I got an even bigger experience with music.
What age was this?
Going back when I was 10.
Okay.
Yeah, so I listened to a lot of Motown stuff,
okay.
and a lot of soul stuff, a lot of Michael Jackson,
ska,
a lot of ska stuff as well. Yeah, all that. So my journey really started music-wise properly was back in the early 80s, back in around about 1982. Actually, it was watching Top of the Pops and seeing the first break dance hip hop act. I think it was called Break Machine, and I think just before that, Malcolm McLaren brought out
before my time, by the way, people.
A tune called Buffalo Girls. Yeah, and it had a major impact on me. You know what I mean? I was like, wow, what is this? Yeah, so then obviously got introduced to all the electro hip hop stuff and African Bombatas and all that business. Ice, and it just went on to Ice-T and then progressed up to things like Public Enemy.
Yeah, man, one of my favourites, Public Enemy.
I did see Public Enemy was the the biggest hip hop act. I mean, I've seen a few. I've seen KRS-One. KRS-One was one of my heroes. As far as rap was concerned.
KRS-One's a bad boy.
He was an
definitely
intelligent. I only recently figured out how much influence he had on the hip hop scene.
People like Rob Bass, Easy Rock, Run DMC,
Eric B. and Rakim.
Okay, that's my kind of hip hop right there.
X-Clan.
We're talking hip hop. Stetsasonic.
Yeah, all that. Oh my god.
Okay, so that takes us up late 80s, I guess.
Yeah.
Where did the rave scene come into it? Where did you first hear hardcore or acid house? What was your first experience?
Well,
what brought you into that?
I was living in Redditch at the time. And
I used to live in Redditch as well.
It's not bad.
Openshaw.
Yeah. Matchborough East.
I used to fish in Matchborough Pond.
Wow.
Serious shit, man. There you go, look. We've known each other, God knows, nearly 30 years and we didn't know that.
A long time.
I used to fish in your local pond, bro. Yeah, man.
Wow.
Small world.
It is, isn't it? Yeah. So anyway, when I was there, trying to find my feet as an MC, because obviously, going back from...
Is it the hip hop that influenced you?
The hip hop influenced me
majorly.
Yeah, without the hip hop, you wouldn't have got me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and obviously I spent hours and hours and hours and hours and hours listening to hip hop, constantly listening to every style of rap that they got. I mean, it was like the rave scene in the early days. You couldn't actually pinpoint it as a one thing. It was
all fresh as well.
It was a mixed bag of and hip hop was like that as well. I mean, obviously without hip hop itself, you wouldn't have had a rave scene, because obviously with the aiming breaks and that, a major influence in that. Yeah, so I'd listen to.
I think between reggae and hip hop,
yes,
the influence that that's had on the hardcore and the jungle scene is detrimental.
Yes, yeah. So I like in the late 80s, like 87 and that. Well, I was living in Redditch. I used to listen religiously to John Peel. Yeah, and you do that spectrum of hip hop or
John Peel's everything. When he just encompassed the full spectrum of music,
all the early rave stuff, the house,
happy hardcore, then some mad dub, red dub,
there's some fresh death metal.
That's because he appreciated every style. Do you know what I mean? And he didn't pigeonhole, and he just played what he felt was good music. Which I respected that.
One of the originals.
Definitely
one of the only ones that on radio one I actually really listened to.
Yeah, probably a lot of people that had the bollocks to actually play those tunes, because at the time most DJs didn't play that, because it was not all commercial stuff. He was playing underground music to a commercial crowd that weren't used to that at all. So respect that, man.
For real. I mean, I come from a nightclub scene anyway, because when I was living in Kidderminster, I found my feet with this agency that used to do weddings and under 18 discos.
You're doing me on that chair, you're doing me. I gave him this chair because I sit there and I do this, right? And I passed it on to Robbie. Go on, sorry.
That's all right. So so they used to do weddings and functions and under 18s events and stuff like that, and I used to go around with them and learn how to put all the equipment together and whatnot, and eventually go and play music and MC. And I was MCing at the time, and then as it progressed, I used to go to nightclubs and get the DJ to play a couple of electro tunes. I say, if you play that one and that, and try and mix it up and that, give me 10 minutes, and I'm going to go in the crowd, I'm going to start MCing to people and pull people out of the crowd and interact with them and ask you, they'll start making up lyrics about them and whatnot. So that was kind of my first experience of playing out to the crowd and that, just totally off the cuff, just didn't really give a shit. You know what I mean? And then it was when I went to see Public Enemy at the Hummingbird, and I saw those. I just moved to Worcester, and working with Ragged Paz and his brother Tony and that, and in fact he booked me for the very first ever rave that I MC'd up at the Moseley Dance Centre in
Yeah.
So this is in 1990, the early part. So we're still heavily into hip hop at this stage.
Talking about that Moseley party, was talking about last week. Paul Pilgrim. It was going to be in a bit. Me and Paul were talking about that.
So went to this concert at the Hummingbird for the Public Enemy, and it profoundly changed me because of the influence that they had. In fact, I turned up late. There's 5,000 people in the crowd, and I'm right in the back, and I'm thinking, "Fuck this! I want to be at the front." So, as the supporting act, third bass was on. I managed to get to the front. So then Chuck D and everybody came out and doing their thing. And at one point, I'm at the front and I'll go like this, yeah. And Chuck D goes like this, and we connect like this. Boom! And it was just that moment, and it was at that moment I thought, do you know what? I want to do what he does.
I want to be there,
yeah.
Up there.
So managed to get talking to a guy called Simon Rain.
Right, that's
Simon Rain at the time.
Yeah, Crasher.
And he had, I went up to this rave at the Hummingbird a week later, and then I was on the phone to Simon, and I was explaining to him who I am as an MC and that. So listen, just give me an hour on there, and see what happens.
Was your blaggings, not bookings?
Yes, that's right. Yeah, I tried to get my foot on this. I thought, yeah, this is great. Yeah, so he's like, yeah, come up and that. So we drove up there, and it was the night Guru Josh was there.
Yeah.
Right, it was the night where the sound engineer kept turning down the music every time he kept complaining. Yeah, and I was at the back with him after. He sits down there with it. I'm saying that because he's passed away, bless him. Yeah. He had this jar of coke. Yeah, he's standing there pissed right up, proper fuming. He was had a right cob on there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, do you know what? If that had been me, I'd have gone up there, I'd have smashed that jar, or whatever. Yeah, that saxophone that your mate's got, and smashed it right in the top of it. And he was like, yeah, I know, but you know what I mean. But the whole atmosphere of the place was just like electric, and it was like, wow, I like this. This is great. And they heard me for the first time, and they're like, wow, you know what I mean? So that was my first ever experience with rave directly, even though for the first previous 2 or 3 years, I was actually buying the music, Chicago house, Detroit techno, and I was playing.
So you played. You
playing it.
DJ as well. Obviously.
Yeah, I was DJing as well. You know what I mean? But obviously, it was one or the other that was going to take off.
Yeah. Well, you're MC Robbie D, so
exactly.
We know which route that took.
Yeah. But yeah, that was my first experience, and it was brilliant.
Right. So
then.
Okay. So that was your introduction.
Okay.
To being a microphone dom.
Right.
Okay, now you're associated massively with certain brands.
Yeah.
One being Fantasia.
Yeah.
Another one being Obsession.
Yeah.
Okay. Tell me how that really came about for you. What happened? How did you get on board there?
Well, I can't really speak about these 2 organisations without actually going right to the source, which was Perception.
Okay.
So I was living in Worcester at the time. Beginning of the rave scene, and I was with Tony Pastori, and he said, "Oh, we're going to go to Cheltenham to a club called Swift's."
Right. Okay.
And that's where I met Gideon and James.
Right.
And I obviously did what I did in the club and whatnot, and they were like, "Oh, hello."
Oh, gorgeous. How are you?
Hello, mate.
Got your coat? You've got a booking.
They must have sat there rubbing their hands. Oh, this is interesting. Yeah. Would you like to come and MC for us?
So this was a Perception?
No, this was for a rave called Incantation that they were loosely involved with, and I said, okay, yeah, not a problem. It was a week later,
yeah,
and I was supposed to go on the mic for Easy Groove. I'd never even really met at the time. I was like, okay,
heard of him. Definitely heard of him.
Yeah.
Again, we'll
So anyway, I went there. Someone gave me a lift down there, and
so it gets interesting.
I was late. Yeah, I ended up going to Charter to go and meet in the Tobacco to go and get the passes to go there, but they'd already left to go up to this Sudley Castle, which was literally out of town, up the road kind of thing. And so when I got there, I was late. The rave was already underway,
yep.
And I'm outside saying, "Look, I need to get hold of James Perkins or Gideon Dawson because I need to get on that mic in a minute." And I was there for about half an hour. I was, you know what I mean? I wasn't going anywhere. In fact, I told my lifts, just go back to Worcester and leave me there. I'll be fine. Yeah. got a clue, you know, but
Just carried on playing.
just do what you're doing. And in the end, the girl that on the gate, she must have took pity on me because she went, "Go on then, go and find them." I said, "Finally, thank you." So I got in there, saw James and Gideon. I said, "Right, get on the mic." Dennis is on there, and I can't remember which MC was on there, right? And I think I do, but I'm not going to mention any names.
Right. Okay.
So give me the mic, and I'm on there for 10 minutes. 10 minutes. Yeah, there's actually some of my Worcester crews already there in the front, and the tents jam packed. And I went on for 10 minutes, and then Easy Groove, Dennis Murray, good guy.
Good old Den.
Looked up at me, right. And the MC looked at me. He looked pissed right off. He looked really fucked off. Yeah. really
that bad?
No, it was like, fuck, what have I just let him do, kind of thing, to me, kind of thing. It was not my fault. At the end of the day, I do what I do, yeah. You know what I mean? We'll say I'm better than anybody else, but when I get on a mate, yeah,
Did they know about it that night, mate?
You're going to know about it. That was my 10 minutes introduction, and then Dennis turned around to me. He said, "What are you doing?" So I was like, "No." He said, "Right, you're coming with me." Right, so he literally grabbed me, right, and threw me in a car, right, and he took me to my first ever free party with the Travellers, New Age Travellers, yeah. And that was a door that really opened.
So now you actually know how.
Yeah.
Dennis Easy Groove and Robbie D actually met and became that dynamic duo.
Yeah, we were really easy going.
Crazy
because the second time that I met up with him, it was in the club in Cheltenham, in the night out that we used to do on a Thursday night. And the first night that I met him in there,
raves on Thursday nights, Tuesday
I actually thought he was a 200 head tentacled monster because I was tripping off my tits at the time. Yeah, and he kept asking me, right, have you got a phone number? And I'm like, no, I ain't got a phone number. And he said, well, I was trying to get hold of you. And he was like, well, no, you can't get hold of me. And it's like, no, I'll find you or something like that. I thought he was going to kidnap me and eat me. Yeah, literally, and it was a week later to go to Bristol to apologise or something, mate. I'm not being funny.
You're not Octo-Dread.
I'm not being funny, mate, but I really thought you was out of Doctor Who there and you was coming to get me. Like, God knows who you fucking were. Yeah. And then I realised after, a couple of days later, when I came down, and that wasn't the case. It was that. So then, like, he thought it was really funny, and that's how we become good friends.
Right.
And that, and we,
collaborated from there.
So. That was my first experience with the raves, but then I met up with Chris Griffin, right, and he asked me would I like to MC for this thing that he's doing in Oxford for 11,000 people. And I thought,
the outdoor party.
He said, I wouldn't pay you much, we'll give you 30 quid. So not many paying like Blue Rider 500 quid. It's like little. But it didn't matter, did it?
No.
In fact, all been there. That rave was the only rave I made the one mistake. I actually called Groove Rider Easy Groove because I didn't know who the fuck was coming on. Yeah, they just said go and MC for that, and I go, who's that coming on? I know that's Easy Groove, but who's that? And I was like, but there is where I first made my first impact. You know what I mean? And it was an experience. You know what I mean? So then like. There was a little dynamic between Chris and James and Gideon. Yeah. And instead of becoming like partners, they started becoming rivals. Right. So that Fantasia.
That way it fractioned.
Off. Yeah.
Obsession.
Well, yeah. It was
perception.
It was more perception and Fantasia to begin with, and that. Yeah.
So perception was Nick originally.
Perception was Chris, and then Nick Sellers, and then Nick Sellers,
bless his soul,
bless his soul, jumped on board,
and Gideon, of course,
and then Gideon and James, and then it was Gideon and James. So Cheltenham's it's quite an interesting place.
It is. It's quite a little marketplace as well, really, isn't it?
Yeah. But they do like to party, they like to rave, and they do like to put on really good parties. Some really good promoters came out of that. Anybody that's watching this need to realise that out of all of the promoters in the country, Cheltenham was the melting pot of some of the best parties that ever were. Yeah, they can't be replicated. You know, perception was lightning in a bottle. Yeah, and it paved the way for. It was a very innovative organisation that kind of Fantasia sprung out from that, and then took it to the next level, and then obviously Obsession.
So from
as well.
one root, basically,
Yeah.
it grew into several flowers.
Yes.
And they all branched off and went
Of
their
course
own
it did,
way.
yeah.
And did their own thing.
Yeah.
So rather than being one, it
Yeah.
obviously then becomes
Yeah.
competitive as
Exactly.
well, doesn't it? Everyone wants
Yeah.
to be bigger
Yeah.
and
Yes,
better
yes,
and
yes.
being innovative.
Yes.
Anyway.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, I'm not taking it away from things like Rain Dance and Sunrise and Energy and
They were more than they were all
they were that end.
Yeah.
Right. So they're doing their thing, and they got that end at this end of the country. So the thing about the West Country is it's a massive pool of talent and whatnot. Especially Bristol. Bristol is the melting pot of music. I don't care what anyone says.
Yeah.
Jungle came out of Bristol, right? Jungle is the home of Bristol.
Even though it's the most multi-cultured, most versatile. Just every of everything there.
Even though somebody like Paul Ibiza might disagree with me, because Jungle did actually originate from Ibiza Records, and I know because I was there. I was there on the night, right, where in Camden, where Jungle was birthed, right? Literally, you couldn't write it. It was that is where Jungle originated, but Bristol was a next level.
A bubbling pot.
It was the bubbling pot. You know, you got Ronnie Size, you got all the Easy Groove.
Yeah,
me.
Bungie.
Yeah, absolutely. John Nation, you know what I mean?
Died Crust,
Daisy, you name it, the list is endless. You know what I mean? Even MC Scorpio, my MC, the Strictly Drumble Squad. Yeah, Bristol was always
plug.
you know, but a lot of it was all tied in with the free parties with the
Dennis was big on that side of things.
Good
Bristol.
Good times, Dance Wicked, with the Easy Grooves and that. So the New Age travelling element of it was a massive,
of course,
component to all of us. Yeah, so we'd go and do Fantasia or do Perception or go to do Mythology or whatever it is, but we'd always end up at the free party, right? And there was a period that.
Well, you and Dennis are very well known in the free party community. Trust me. Yeah, your names get mentioned quite a lot in the most random of places.
Oh yeah. That's another podcast, by the way. But it was a massive influence on.
What year was Castle Morton again?
Castle Morton was 93.
Was it 92 or 93?
It was 93.
93.
Yeah.
So, okay, at that time you had cracking off your big legal parties, your Fantasia, blah blah blah. Then all of a sudden you had a mass conglomeration of free party, radical movement, next generation party, free tree hugging people descending on Castle Morton for an illegal, not illegal, not licensed, an illegal, and it was just literally a free for all with people from everywhere turning up, setting up sound systems. And what was there, 30,000?
There was about
there was more than that, wasn't there?
68,000.
68,000.
68,000, yeah. So
big party, and that party itself set off the criminal justice bill.
Yeah. So we got these as I said, we started off with the free parties, right? So there was a period of 26 weeks and 26 consecutive free parties every week. Yeah, it started off small, right, and then started gradually getting bigger and bigger. So we go to one area, and then we'd end up say the Ministry of Defence lands on up by Stroud, and then we'd end up in Wales, and then we'd end up somewhere down in Gloucester or anywhere within a 100-mile radius. And then progressively got bigger and bigger. So Oxford, a lot.
So basically the rave scene on steroids.
So basically, we were part of the free party scene and that, and as I said, it got bigger and bigger and bigger, and the business had no idea. There's one we just took 10,000 people turned up.
There's nowhere to cope.
There was nothing they could do. All they could do was fly a helicopter around and that. So
look busy,
right? So then we had the one on Chip and Sodwood Common. I think it was 1 week or 2 weeks. Yeah, it was a week before. It was 2 weeks before. It was a week before Perception, and then there was supposed to have been a big one down near Glastonbury.
No prime drinks, by the way.
We don't,
No,
we don't do
prime.
clothes, right, at all.
Not by prime.
Right, so the Glastonbury party was a diversion, so they could get to Castle Morton. Now I was in Birmingham at the time. I just done a party, come back. I was with my woman at the time, and she was like, "Oh, where's this party then? Do you know where it is?" I said, "Listen, don't worry about it. Yeah, it's Sunday." I said, "I guarantee you any money within the next hour, we're gonna know where it is."
Where it is.
Put the telly on, I said. Right, just put the news on, local, central news, what it is. It said, "Oh, there's a big illegal gathering down in Castle Morton. Do not attempt to go down there because the police won't let you in." So get in the fucking van.
We're going.
Right, so she got on a Kawasaki Z650. I got in the van, and then we just sped off down there, and there you go, we're there. Right, wicked. Right, so we're here. And that, I was there 24 hours. I was there on the Sunday. On the Monday,
Bank holiday weekend.
yeah, it was bank holiday weekend. On the Monday, I had to go to Nottingham. Yeah. I was like, okay, so how am I going to do that then? I thought, oh, hang on, DIY's here.
Yeah,
right. So,
Nottingham-based,
yeah, I said, can you give me a lift to Nottingham? And that, yeah. I got to go and do that. So I left there, Angie, and just went up there, did the thing at the Marcus Garvey Centre.
Yeah.
And the promoter had this clever idea of paying me by cheque. Well, that's good, isn't it?
That's
Yeah.
King
That's
Robbie,
King
come
Robbie,
on,
yeah.
to this day.
Right, so I'm literally like standing next to the wall, and this kid is next to me says, "Oh, you never guess where I've just come from." I went, "Where's that then?" He went, "Oh, I'm in the Castle Morton." I said, "That's funny you say that." I've just come back from there as well. He goes, "What are you doing here?" I said, "I've just done a bit of work, obviously." He said, "You never guess what?" He went, "What?" It's still on. He went, "Fuck off." I went, "Yeah." It's still on.
How long did it go on for? Was it three days?
It went on longer than that.
Oh, you know.
I said, "So should we go back?" He went, "Yeah." So we all jumped in the car and went back.
So you went from
Yeah.
Castle Morton to Nottingham,
Yeah.
and back to Castle Morton.
Yeah.
Well, why not?
That's right. You know what I
You
mean?
can do it,
You
you
call
can do it at
you
that
call that
age.
this bag of minerals and that, yeah, because
Yeah,
it's about keeping
vitamins and minerals.
It's about
We're
keeping.
talking
You know what I'm
about
saying? Yeah.
vitamins and
Right,
minerals.
vitamins and minerals. Because I've been there every week. Yeah. And I ended back where I started. It was mental. In fact, it was the if you remember Perception, it was Keon and Rampton at the time, the two Iranian businessmen.
Right.
Some people say they were gangsters, but I
You wouldn't know about that
said
anyway,
the
would you?
evidence to that.
Allegedly.
No, at all. Right. And I actually gave Keon the cheque. He gave me the money for it. It was only 150 quid, or sort of 250. Yeah, it was 250 quid, and he said it bounced. He said, "Don't check." It was when you two.
This is why cash is king.
Yeah, he
not
said,
bounce
"Robbie,"
cash.
he said, "if it was anybody else, I'd have broke the neck." I said, "You, I like you." He said, "You know what I mean?" It's like, it's all good, man. You know what I mean? But yeah, the three parties, especially that one, was responsible for the Criminal Justice Act.
Mm.
Now we were responsible for that part indirectly, and we're quite proud of it.
Don't blame you. History in the making, isn't it, mate?
Right?
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right, okay. What is your favourite event you've ever done? One. Only one answer.
Matches Park Stadium, Bournemouth.
Summertime.
Fantasia, summertime.
Why?
Because that was the one that broke me out as a proper professional,
It did, mate.
true MC.
It did, yeah.
Yeah.
That event.
Yeah.
What happened at that event, mate? Tell the people. I'm sure everybody out there, the majority of people watching
Well,
this,
the
are gonna know what happened.
original idea was to actually get a jetpack and fly out like NASA and that over the crowd. But unfortunately,
This is like this is
Yeah.
years ago.
Right,
People
right.
didn't think about things like this back then.
unfortunately, council weren't having none of it. Yeah, I thought we'd do it anyway. I said, "All right, then, why don't we just use a harness?" And I thought they were going to use like a proper zip wire to zip me out, and it weren't. It was like it was a big long cable, and it to pull me up and then throw me out, and like it was mental. It really was. But it was original. It was like, let's just do that. Just do it for a laugh and see what happens.
There's that picture of you flying through the crowd with your bomber jacket and
your
your round shades on it flying
through.
through.
You know what I mean? It was excellent.
Well, I think, as far as I'm aware, the only MC that has ever actually...
Well, except Evil, is it...
oh yeah, that was more recent. Was that that's different. You can't recreate that part of history.
You can't recreate lightning in a bottle, yeah? Right, that was something else. Yeah, you had to be there to experience it, but...
Unfortunately, that wasn't there.
No. Where were you?
Cry.
Were you? Glastonbury or something?
No, I was, I think I was 14 or 15.
Right.
It was just before I started going, like, small local parties, so yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm young, me, mate.
I know you are.
I'm only 46.
Mad, isn't it?
You know?
Wow. So anyway.
So that's your favourite event, and any other reasons other than being hoisted above the crowd? Was it the event itself?
It's the one that I remember every minute of it.
And all I can remember is that everybody being told, and it was Ribsy, Sean telling everybody not to go to the beach. So what happens when you tell 12,000 people not to go to the beach? They're going home, aren't they?
You're doing the opposite.
They go to the fucking beach.
Right. I did try and warn them. I said, just do not go Bournemouth Beach, whatever you do. The beach is that way, right? And home's that way.
It's that way.
Right, so go home. The next thing, I'm on the TV, on the beach, right, with 2 bottles of wine, yeah, on the news, yeah, on ITN News, thinking, fuck,
MCing into the bottle at the time.
I've been rumbled. Oh well, no.
But I mean, don't tell 12,000 people not to go to the beach. Sean as well. You're both a bad man.
It was probably about 25,000 people.
I think more people turned up.
There was another 4,000 people turned up. Yeah,
there was massive road traffic jams, wasn't there?
Yeah.
Around the event.
I mean, it was all our fault.
It's your fault.
Well, yeah. I mean, at the end of the day,
you're the scapegoat, mate. It's always your fault.
It was the only rave that I know of that had a full week's coverage on ITN News. You know what I mean? That's the work that we put in. You know what I mean? The council came first, I could see him come in, then the news cameras come in. I'm thinking, great, let's milk this, yeah. And we did. And on the strength, I mean, like, it was mental. Have you ever heard of a rave being put on the 10 o'clock news at night? It's unheard of. You might get a clip here and there, but it was a whole coverage. They did not want that to happen at all. Yeah, and obviously the knock-on effect was that we had 16,000 people there, plus another at least 4,000 people outside wanting to come in, and we did actually get them in the end.
All sorted.
All sorted. And it cemented Fantasia's name.
Were the drugs good that night?
To be honest,
obviously you'd know, but
actually, I didn't actually do anything for the first part. Well, I was on the honest, I didn't do nothing. No. I mean, I'd obviously got a bit fucked up the week leading up to it and afterwards, but that little section was actually pretty straight. It was mad because I was on the quad at one point. Don't know how I got on that yet. Down towards because loads of people couldn't get in. I went down to see what was going on and to let them know. A line of police there, and I made the mistake of going over the police line. Right, but they wouldn't let me back in. I'm like, hang on, I've got to go back on stage in a minute. I've got to do the morning set and that. And no, not having that. So they basically, James and Johnny Evans, Johnny Vincent, part of Fantasia, and he's
still knocking about.
Yeah, he's actually coming up today. Yeah,
there you go.
He's part of this event that we're doing in September. Basically, that's to concoct a story that they just sacked me. Right, that I've been sacked. So you can come in, but you're sacked. Yeah, that was the only way I could get back in. You know what I mean? So I got back in with the quad and that. It took about 20 minutes to do that. So got in there, back on the stage, and that was just before the time where either Mad P's telling the guy to get off the fucking speakers, HIV got off the speakers, and me telling everybody to don't bother going down Bournemouth Beach.
Sounds like Pat to say something like
that.
No, you know what
I mean? So yeah, it was mental. It was absolutely mental, but it did pave the way. It paved the way for me and Ratty, for Rat Pack, LSD, everyone, Groove Riders, all of them. I mean, they're all big names anyway, but that was everybody would always talk about Mansfield Park Stadium. The more than they do more than they do Castle Donington.
Yeah. I think in its own right, although it was a smaller event, it possibly is as, if not more, talked about than Donington Park.
Absolutely. Absolutely, yes. And I was so
Madness.
glad that we were part of it, yeah. You know what I mean? We were, as we say, innovators.
I mean, man, how back in those days you could have an event with 10,000 people one weekend, then you had all the weekly club nights in each area, then the following weekend you could have 25,000 ravers. I mean, it's just phenomenal the amount of people that were involved with the scene. I mean, if you compare it to today's scene, we don't have that weekly club night, we don't have that 15, 20,000 capacity, not in our genres of music. It was just nuts. It was nuts. But obviously that did eventually dwindle and segregated.
I mean, it did pave the way for a lot bigger events and a bigger scene. You know, it became international then, because obviously being on the news and the world are watching that and going, what is that? Oh, they're having a good time. You know, it was a big...
It raised awareness.
Yeah, of course. I mean, then it sprung up bigger in Europe and America, Australia, off the back of what we all did back in the early 90s.
A lot of the UK artists were travelling to Australia, the US, and gone Japan, God knows where.
Yeah, well, you know, I mean, this is before the internet. I mean, on the internet.
But let's be honest though, what's a Japanese MC going to sound like? I've got to ask that question. Is this why, if you go to Japan or certain other countries, they have all the English MCs out there?
Of course.
Would it sound right in another language?
I don't know. I mean, like...
that's a really good question.
Like, in the Spanish language, or... I mean, I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah, it sounds different, because I feel this is like Polish hip-hop.
Oh, yeah.
It's cool, it's good, and it works, and it sounds okay, but I've heard hip-hop in other languages, and it just sounds completely ridiculous. So is it the same as regards with MCs? You think it was...
I don't know, maybe it's worth to find out.
But what is the funniest moment, the funniest thing you've ever seen in a club, the most craziest, ridiculous, out there thing, something you're like, what the fuck have I just seen?
Me in the mirror, usually.
We have to look at that all the time without the mirror.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, I know that.
Is there a particular funniest thing? Got to be something you can think of, something just completely out there.
Completely out there? Oh, I don't know. Hang on. Maybe
or it's got to be real. Something that was real.
There's lots of funny instances. I mean, one of the funniest things I was involved with was DJ Vibes' Shane's birthday down at a dance planet at Milton Keynes, and he decided to turn pissed up.
No,
it's not like him. More lively. No.
So
they were coming in with these big clear bottles of what appeared to be liquid, but I think it might have been vodka.
Yeah.
So anyway,
vodka.
After a few hundred sips of that, like me and Lively jumping on this bouncy castle at the back of the sanctuary. I don't know if I can say that, but it was perfect for what it needs to be done. And we were all bouncing around everywhere, fucking falling all around the rave. I had to keep coming outside to tell Shane that he's on in half an hour, but he's literally on the floor in the car park. He's got his trousers around his ankles for some reason. I don't know what he's doing. I think he's trying to eat the tarmac, and I'm trying to explain to him that if he doesn't get the fuck off the floor, someone's going to have to do your set for you, mate, And he's like, listen, you're going to have to tell him. You're going to have to tell him. I said, well, alright then. Right. So I managed to stumble back into the ring and somehow managed to get on stage, and Groove Riders playing at the time, right? And I stopped the music, I've gone to stop the music, and I said, listen everyone, DJ Vibes ain't going to be playing in a minute, he's out there, it's his birthday and he's fucked. And with that, I fell off the stage.
I can relate to that, I've done it myself.
Literally, it was mental, you know what I mean? So I think that was...
I've now got a vision of Shane chewing tarmac.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Right. Different. We're back in the house after a short commercial break. It was a Pearl and Bean production. Introducing Back in the house, Robbie D.
Detonator.
The original debt collector, I call him.
Right, yeah.
The original detonator.
Yeah, I can do good paint jobs as well. The original decorator.
Original decorator. Makes a new avenue for you. Things do go tits up for us all, like, do you know what I mean? It's all good. Well, a couple of things, mate. Obviously, you're known as a Southwest MC, even though your heritage goes from different areas. You're very well known in the Southwest because you spent a lot of your life down there.
Yeah.
For me, I've always seen you as sort of being one of those MCs that doesn't get regionalised like certain MCs in certain areas. Regardless of how good they are as an MC, certain MCs do get pigeonholed and kept in regions.
Yes.
Yorkshire, for example, is a very cliquey area for MCs. You don't get a lot of them coming outside of that Yorkshire area, and you don't get a lot of MCs from outside of Yorkshire going into Yorkshire. You sort of went massive in the Southwest, but I've always seen you as having branched out and used that M5 corridor for your bookings. And I know you were taken on massively in the Midlands by Quest, Gerald at Quest. Pandemonium, you were regular there, you're probably resident there for a while. And you and Ratty also used to perform a lot, and Ratty being from the Midlands, Leamington Spa Crew. Some of your sets with Ratty are legendary, especially your mythology set is one that gets mentioned all the time. So you've always had a really, really strong Midlands connection all the way up to sort of, I think, probably Stoke. And obviously nationally, internationally, but that for you was like a huge corridor from all the way from the Southwest, Cornwall, all the way up the M5 up to Stoke. That was like, you were the boy, and I can remember back in the day, people used to say, he's the boy, Robbie's the boy. And you, when you were peaking, it was like next level, when the whole rave scene was peaking at that time. What's your favourite set you did with Ratty?
Favourite set? It's funny you should say that, because I performed with Ratty a couple of weeks ago in Plymouth.
The warehouse reunion
yes,
party. How was that?
Yeah, it was next level.
It was good.
It was next
I know Roy Ellis D was putting some nice videos of it, and I said to Stacey, "Oh, that's nice."
It was great.
That's nice.
It was recapturing something that was great down there, and
that was a wicked venue. I've got my friend Kirk here in the house today. I'm sure you've been to the old warehouse with me when we were down in Plymouth many years ago. Dance Academy as well.
That's right, Dance Academy, Wasp Factory. Obviously, the Plymouth warehouse is absolutely legendary, and it was great to be back then. To perform with Ratty for the first time since about 2010 was something special as well, because he didn't know what to expect.
Was that well received?
It was very
fucking was.
Very well received, yeah.
Wicked.
It was next level, because obviously we're bringing our decades of experience to the forefront, and just getting on with it as if it was like yesterday kind of thing, and it worked really well. Ratty was really happy.
I think as far as technicians go, you're both sort of master technicians at your own trade. You're a master technician on the microphone. Your lyrics were always, you're changing and adapting and moving. You very rarely use the same lyric again, so you were very technical with your lyrical ability. A Ratty, this is in my opinion, as a technical DJ, and I'm talking about a DJ with 2 decks, a mixer put in front of him. He has the best technical ability, and again, this is my opinion as a DJ, he's the best technical DJ on the planet. His hands move like fucking lightning, and at the time your lyrics were coming out new, fresh like lightning. So you have Ratty, bam, boom, 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 fingers, hands all over the place, mixing, dropping beats in, one tune into another, into a next, and you flipping your lyrics, boom, 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 whacked. That hit people, and it was like, fuck me, this is fresh, this is exciting, this is hitting me. Do you know what I mean? And as much as you would say you're never a partnership, there is a massive correlation between you and Dave, Mr. Ratty, the Rats.
Absolutely.
Man DJ, man MC.
Yay.
Tell us, man.
Yeah. DJ Ratty in there.
Big up Ratty.
Ratty, big up Ratty.
Respect Dave, mate.
It's a shame you support Man United. Something like that.
I've seen some states who struggle supporting himself, but I think we've all been there. So, another thing I'm going to touch base on, our connection as well. We've known each other for the best part of 30 years. You performed at the first ever event I put on, this was in 1999, at the Void, and you still to this day booked by me, not blagged
That's right.
by you. You're booked by me.
Yes.
Still for parties to stay.
Of course, of course.
A testament to to your master craftsmanship in the scene, I guess. Well, some questions from me.
Yeah.
I've got some questions for some of the people out there that have been asked today and yesterday. 1963, 1944. Right. Okay, so my questions for you.
Right.
Your favourite DJ?
My favourite DJ. My favourite.
Your favourite DJ?
DJ Easy Groove.
Your favourite MC?
Mad P.
Fucking good answer.
Yeah.
Favourite food? Come on.
Minted lamb.
Minted lamb.
Yes.
Good answer. Shank.
You what?
Shank. No, I said shank.
Yes.
Favourite venue?
Favourite venue?
Just one. Favourite
Club.
venue? Q Club. Birmingham. Pooh. Big
Yes.
venue. Bad venue.
Yes.
Best event
Best event?
ever?
Fantasia.
Okay, we know the answer to that
What?
one. Match them
Yeah,
sometime,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Okay. Rum or vodka?
Gotta be vodka, innit?
SM58 or radio mic?
Oh, I'd definitely be a radio mic.
Oh, fucking hell,
Ah,
mate.
yeah.
Yeah, SM58. Yeah. I say, fucking hell, I'm not having him on here again. There's no part two, is there? Okay, what was your craziest hairstyle? And we're going to back this up with picture evidence.
I had the big long dreads.
Yeah.
I did.
Right, I've got a great picture
Yeah.
to put in there.
Yeah.
Your favourite year for music and radio?
Favourite year for music and rave has got to be 93.
Fucking knew he was going to say 93. I had three fingers up. Yes, right, okay, right.
Right.
Questions from people out there.
Right.
This guy, I've heard of this guy. Ian Moore, Shock C. Ian, big up, Mr. Shock C, Coventry Massive,
Easy
Amnesia
now.
Crew.
Yes.
Rude Boy,
Whoa.
Tall Man,
Whoa.
the long one.
Let's go.
Yes. Right, okay, whose idea was it to fly at summertime? Whose idea
It
was
was
it to
mine.
put you in
They'd
the
say
air?
it was theirs, but it was mine.
So it was Robbie's.
I told Nick Sellers that I wanted to do it because the jetpack idea just flew out the window, kind of thing.
Literally. Excuse the pun.
Yes.
Okay, from Chloe Taylor, Taliban parties.
Right.
Tell me, what?
Absolutely.
What? I never went, I've
Taliban-
heard. Tell us, tell.
Aberystwyth parties,
tell.
absolutely mental free parties. Used to drive for miles and miles to get to them. In fact, I drove to one all night and got there just as it ended. That was how dedicated I was.
I've done that before. I've done that before. Driving around Exmoor, trying to find
Yeah,
somewhere.
I knew where it
We
was.
never found it.
I knew where it
Never.
was.
You could hear the music and shit.
Yeah,
It was driving through
yeah.
these moors. Never at all.
Yeah.
Right, okay, from Rich Pickles, your favourite promoters?
Favourite promoters obviously was Fantasia, Obsession with Gideon and Perception.
Yeah, that's exactly what I figured you were saying.
And I'm followed by Dreamscape,
This other guy here.
Murray, rest in peace.
Murray, yeah. Murray.
Yes,
Legendary.
absolutely.
Guy called Lomas.
Yes.
Favourite Welsh DJ for Steve. Lomas. Big up Lomas, original out there.
Yeah, my favourite Welsh
Favourite
DJ.
Welsh DJ.
Well, I'd either say like, I remember this right from back in the day. Quest had a poll of all the DJs from all the areas who was your best DJ, and the one they put up there, I think it was a joke, but it was quite funny at the time. Said that Wales' number one DJ was either DJ Lomas or anyone with more than 10 records. Right, that was quite funny. But DJ Lomas has always been my favourite Welsh DJ, hands down. Hands
I
down.
think you knew that was going to be the answer there,
Yes,
mate. You know what I mean?
yes.
Steve is a hell of a DJ,
He is,
man.
in fact, I'm
Played some wicked sets for me over the
actually going to
years.
MC for him on the 28th.
Make sure he brings all 10 records with him. Yeah.
Fall on them free now.
Rod Jones, Rod NRG says, ask you about the Fusion Hotel incident with getting kicked out with your dog.
Oh yeah, well, he was there, you should know.
There you go,
Yeah.
there's your answer to that one. Marky Taylor, were you scared when you were pulled up in the air at Matcham's Park?
No, not at all.
That's a lie. You said before you were scared that you'd come down off your pill halfway
Yeah,
up.
that's right.
the wire,
Yeah.
And you wouldn't be able to get another one.
I
when you was
realised I
up
hadn't done anything. So there you go. No, it was a pretty good experience. I mean, the jetpack one would have been a little bit more air raising, you know what I mean? But with a bit of training, I could have landed somewhere.
there. Well, SAS Robbie D.
Yes,
you know what I
right,
mean?
yeah, that's been great.
Right, Robbie, it's a pleasure having you in. I think there's definitely scope for another talk.
Absolutely.
Before we leave this here,
Yes.
you moving forward, obviously your old school is your heritage, you're moving forward with your own little movement at the moment with your crew. We've got Charlie over here in the house.
DJ XL.
XL, do you want to come round quickly, mate?
Yeah, come round.
Just come round quickly.
Come on, my
Bring
friend.
yourself on round.
Yeah.
Come on, lad, bring that ass around here.
Come on, lad. Come on, lad.
You might struggle to understand him a bit because he speaks in a really bad Scouse drawl. All right, so this is Charlie DJ XL. I've known him for quite a while. We've performed together many years ago back at Vibe Light and various other venues. You guys are part of your new movement, which is strictly, I say new movement, it's been going on for quite a while, Strictly Drumgle. So it's basically, you tell me.
Well, basically, I started Strictly Drumgle about 10 years ago, obviously with my DJing side and that, yeah. And I decided that I was going to give them something that they not really heard for a while. With the old school DJs, especially, were very particular how they played their music, and it was something that I actually showed Ratty, is that they like to do mix chains and lots of transitions and long mixes, yeah. So we kind of incorporate with Strictly Drumgle is a fusion of a drum and bass and jungle, new school jungle, yeah. It's got a lot of the old school flavour. Now I've been doing this for 10 years. Yeah? I decided last year that we was going to take it international somehow, and the only way I was going to do that is to actually have a squad of people, very talented people that I know very well, and also can also deliver. Oh no, it's a bit. They can actually deliver something that's very entertaining. So this generation and the new generation.
So who are your DJs?
Who are my DJs? Well, obviously I've got DJ XL. I've got
excellent.
I've got X-Bass from Birmingham.
X-Bass.
We've got DJ High Top from London.
Yep.
We've got Grey Matter from Southampton. We've got MC Pac-Man and MC Scorpio,
I believe.
yeah.
Okay.
And we've got a few, and we've got Shotty 4HF as well.
What's your? If these people want to follow you, where can they follow you?
You can find me on YouTube. You've got to type in Strictly Drumgle. It's DRUMGLE Drumgle, Strictly Drumgle. You'll find my channel. You'll find about over 120 odd podcasts of myself, and now we've got podcasts
Have
from
you got plenty of spare time?
XL. Oh yeah. These they're not short
Lots
sets.
of driving time.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
they're not short sets, but there is a philosophy behind Strictly Drumgle. It's best to listen to it, then you'll understand what it is.
That's the best thing. Right, before we go, you've also guys got an event planned, I believe.
We certainly have, mate, yes.
Tell me a little bit more about that. Make it quick as well.
We're in Club District on the 2nd of September. We have massive lineup. We've got Nicky Black Market, we've got Conrad Subs.
That's Nicky Black Market in English.
Nicky Black Market, very slowly. Conrad Subs. We got the Strictly Drumgle squad, myself, the original detonator, High Top, Grey Matter, Scorpio, Pac-Man, who we mentioned before. The one like MC Energy.
Of course.
We've got Wizzy G, we've got SES, we've got Migs and Daisy. We got a good lineup, man. 2nd September, Club District, Baltic Triangle.
One of the most famous clubs in Liverpool for a reason.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a piece of artwork up on here with that information in English for you so you can understand it. And then you can make your own mind up. So, from myself, the original master of ceremony, microphone controller, man Robbie D.
Kicking it to you.
Nice one.
I'm going to do you look and never do you.
Flipping heck. Don't stop, we could be here for hours, mate. We could be here all night. Nice to see you as well, Charlie. Thank you for coming in.
Yes.
Nice one. Thank you for the team at the back here.
much.
Pamela, thank you very much for
Pamela.
all the crowd at the back, the massive on the left hand side, the massive on the right.
Yes.
You over there. Big up, thank you. And we'll see you next time on the History of Hardcore podcast. Good night, God bless. History of Hardcore podcast. It's all about the history.